Okay, we're rolling. Bobby, nice and slow and smooth. Okay.
So when your mother and father were living in the Knock Green Valley area, do you remember if they ever voted during that time period?
I don't know. Didn't too much know exactly what they did as far as their activities for the house or community like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know they went to church, but our church was in Fairfax, Virginia, Burke, Virginia, so they would always get in the car and go up there. But I can't remember whether they voted or not.
Now, I know your family's origin is from Burke, and we talked about coming back and revisiting that
Yes.
because you have an amazing family history that we need to get on tape for the Library of Congress. So we're going to visit that on another day.
Okay.
But when you came to Merrifield, did you and your husband register to vote?
I can't remember that either. I had so many children, I don't know what I did. You know,
Okay.
I probably couldn't get out to do anything very much at that time.
Mm-hmm. So when the civil rights movement is coming on the scene, the beginning of it, we're still in the old church, Merrifield.
Mm-hmm.
Was Reverend Parker talking about civil rights over the pulpit, or was there discussions within the congregation?
No, that I can't remember. He may have, you know, because there was a lot that he said, but I can't remember.
How did you feel about the civil rights movement?
Well, I just thought it was something there that was going to help us, you know, and I didn't keep up with it that much. I had the family to keep up with, so that was a job within itself, you know. But I always had my prayers that something good would come out of the civil rights movement.
So did you ever listen to Martin Luther King's speeches?
Oh, yes, I did, yes. I have tapes and I have Life magazines. I have everything that went on as far as he was concerned.
Did you get a chance to go to the original March on Washington?
No, I didn't.
Did you watch it on TV?
Yes, definitely.
So how did that make you feel when you watched it on TV?
Well, it made me feel good. It made me feel that we were making some progress. I knew that it wasn't going to be an easy one. I knew that because their determination on one end to do what they wanted to do, determination on the other end to do what we wanted to do. So it was just my prayers and my hope that something good would come out of it and that we would eventually move out of the hostile situation. I call it the hostile situation.
So the Civil Rights Act gets signed in 1964. How do things change in Merrifield, or do things change in Merrifield?
Well, I don't know. It seemed like we were getting along pretty good. I just don't know exactly what it did in Merrifield. We just kept on in the same way that we were going, but what do you mean, in Merrifield or in the church?
Well, Merrifield as a whole, as a community.
Well, I can't see. It changed all right because there wasn't that. The schools, I think, was the main thing that came in after that when they desegregated the schools was the next thing that really outstood in my mind, you know, was outstanding in my mind. I didn't too much keep up with it until that time. And there was really something with that too, because I know my children they didn't want to leave the colored school after they went into this colored school. And they didn't want to go, and that was just a big change for them because they had to get used to being there. But,
Now, how did you have to register your children into the desegregated schools of Fairfax County?
I can't remember how that worked. I really can't remember.
Did you have to go and fill out forms and request to have them?
I really can't remember. Right now, I can't see where I did.
Okay.
But I could have, but so much was going on at the time. I just can't remember whether I did or not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. Right now, I don't remember doing it.
What occupation did your husband have?
Well, he worked in the Pentagon for quite a while. And then he did some work on his own business. I just odds and ends of things.
And you stayed home and took care of the children?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, later years, you became a civil servant yourself.
Yes.
Where did you work?
I worked at the Navy Annex in Arlington, Virginia.
And when did you start there?
I think it was 1968. And I started there, I think, in 1968 and retired in 1986. I had to get careful there because I had to get the two sometimes because the two numbers are the same, you know.
Right.
But no, yes, I started there in 68.
So that's right after the Civil Rights Act is signed.
Okay.
What was it like working at the Navy Yard then?
It was good. I had no problems. Very good. I had a good time there during my tenure at the.
So the whites treated you okay?
Yeah, they were good. They were good.
What were some of the white families in Merrifield that you can remember when you joined the church?
White families? I didn't know very many white families.
Okay.
I didn't really know very many white families. They were there, but they didn't bother me any as long as I could get to church and get my food and take care of the kids, you know. And the main thing was just the schooling, you know, trying to keep up with them and getting along and getting adjusted and satisfied in the schooling.
So do you remember the communities of the Pines in Williamstown?
Well, I remember some of them, yeah, the later years. I don't remember anything in the earlier years when they were there.
Okay. But you remember when most of those residents were
Yeah,
coming to Merrifield?
yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about Merrifield during the 40s and 50s. Can you think of anything else about it?
Well, during the 40s and 50s, I guess more or less in the 50s, because I didn't get in there, until my kids got big enough. So the children, got big enough to sort of do some things for themselves. But it was just wonderful in there. No work that I ever wanted to do that they didn't approve, and they actually went along with me with it. And I don't know how my singing was. My choir director, Deacon Collins, never fussed about it. I think he seemed to think that my alto was just right, And seems to me everything in there just went so good with me. Real.
Can you describe the inside of the old church, what it looked like to you?
Oh my, it was one big room, and two on each side were pews. There were only 2 rows of pews, I think. And they had the choir box, pulpit, in fact, in the middle of the church on the rust, and the choir box. And then they had the 2 rooms on the side, one for the counting of the collections that we took up. Other was for the choir to change the robes and the things. But that was all we had. We didn't have a basement. We had a furnace that heated up, come through the air, hot air furnace. And that came through the air. Because we didn't have a sexton at that time. So the deaconess took turns cleaning the church. We didn't have a sexton to do it.
Do you remember some of the older deaconess, their names?
Oh, it's here, Deaconess Bessie Lambert. Oh my goodness, I should know them all. B. Terry.
Was Mamie Phillips one?
I didn't remember her. She may have been one, but she wasn't active too much when I was there.
Vivian Blackwell?
Yes, she was, yes, Vivian Blackwell. Gibson, Miss Gibson, Sarah Gibson. And
So they cleaned the church.
no, they did. I don't know what they did. Just a deaconess. Yes, yeah, we all took turns to do it. But there were some of us, I think, just did it more than the others, Because some of them were older than I was, and because I was all ready to go for everything.
Tell us about Rally Day. What was Rally Day like?
Oh, let's see. Rally Day was a good day. I mean, I don't think we had all the activities that we have now. But we did have good food and good fellowship, and we'd always have guest people to come in, guest ministers and their churches and whatever to come in. And the food was just delicious. You look forward to that Rally Day food now.
Now, before they built the new church, you just
Yeah.
had the old church. So where did you feed people?
We fed them, had a little stand out there. I guess we would, they really fed, they had a stand that they used to put the food in. And I can't remember now just exactly what we did. But until we got the new church, I imagine it had to be just in the sanctuary, sometimes we'd eat in the sanctuary. And sometimes it would be out in the yard. But we had it though.
What other special days did you have?
Oh, we had
Homecoming?
yeah. Well, I was wondering if they called it home. Yeah, I guess it would be homecoming because now they call it either Rally Day or homecoming. I don't know what
okay.
they'll put in there. But the biggest was the Rally Day. You know, the things that we did.
Now, what was the purpose of Rally Day? Was it to raise money?
Well, then we had Friends Day too. We had all those type of days when we celebrated friendship and I don't know for sure just what I'm quite sure that was what it was for. It was rather to raise funds for the church.
Mm-hmm. Did any of the older members ever talk to you about the origins or how Maryfield got started?
Well, some did, but I just couldn't remember names of the people that did it. I'd have to go back.
Do you remember what they said about how the church was started?
I guess I would, but I can't remember it.
Okay.
I really can't remember exactly how it started. There's the names of people that I can't remember now.
Okay.
But I do have a book here with all of that in.
Mm-hmm.
When they had the rally days and the days, the church days, then we'd always get a book. And everything was in it from that time, so if I was allowed now to go back through the book, I probably could tell you, but right on the top of my head, I can't right now. Because some of the names I don't remember, they were there before, and if I mentioned the name, it may be put in the wrong place, so. But I do have information on that.
Did they ever do voter registration or anything, or the NAACP activities within the church?